On a bright Saturday morning, Sam sat on his small boat, gently rocking with the rhythm of the waves. He had always loved fishing. It was his escape from the hustle and bustle of life. The sun glinted off the water, casting sparkles that danced, like tiny stars. But today, as he cast his line into the deep blue, he felt a heaviness in his heart. Sam couldn't shake the feeling of distance that had settled over him since his best friend, Jake, moved away a few months ago. They had shared countless fishing trips, laughter, and dreams. But now, Sam felt alone, the memories of their adventures echoing in his mind. He missed the easy conversations, the way they could sit in comfortable silence, or the ridiculous jokes that always made them laugh until they cried as he waited for a bite. Sam's thoughts drifted to Jake. He remembered their last day together, how they had promised to stay in touch, but life had a way of getting busy. Jake had moved to another state for a new job, and while Sam was happy for him, he couldn't help but feel abandoned. They had talked a couple of times on the phone, but it wasn't the same. The distance felt like an ocean between them, wide. And UNBRIDGEABLE. Sam sighed and pulled his line back in, feeling restless. He glanced at his phone, hoping for a message from Jake, but the screen remained dark. Just then, something caught his eye. The water began to shimmer and glow with an unusual light. It was as if the ocean itself was alive, pulsating with energy. Sam leaned over the edge of the boat, squinting into the depths, trying to understand what was happening. Suddenly, with a loud splash, a figure shot up from the water, breaking the surface with a force that sent waves crashing against the boat. Sam jumped back, heart racing. As the water cascaded off the figure, he could see that it was a woman, her skin glimmering like the ocean, adorned with scales that sparkled in the sunlight. She looked otherworldly, majestic, and yet somehow familiar. "Who are you?" Sam gasped, unable to comprehend what he was seeing. "I am Princess Ares of the Hidden Ocean Kingdom," she said, her voice melodic and enchanting. "I have risen from the depths to seek your help." Sam blinked, still in shock. "Help? Why would you need my help?" "The kingdom is in danger," Ares explained, urgency in her tone. "An ancient evil stirs in the deepest trenches of the ocean. Only someone from the surface, untainted by ocean magic, can retrieve an artifact that will save my people." Sam felt a mix of disbelief and intrigue. "But I'm just a fisherman. What can I do?" Ares floated closer, her eyes sparkling with determination. "You have a brave heart. You know the land and the sea. Together we can face this challenge." As she spoke, Sam felt a flicker of hope. Maybe this was the adventure he needed to break free from the sadness that had settled over him. Perhaps helping Ares would reignite his spirit and bring him closer to Jake, who had always believed in the extraordinary. "Okay," Sam said, his heart racing with excitement. "I'll help you." With a grateful smile, Ares reached out her hand, and Sam took it. The moment their hands touched, Sam felt a surge of energy flow through him. It was as if the depths of the ocean were connecting with his very soul. Together, they dove beneath the waves, and Sam was amazed by the beauty of the underwater world. Glowing coral, schools of colorful fish, and ancient ruins surrounded them as they swam deeper. Ares shared stories about her kingdom, the traditions, and the people who depended on her. Sam felt a sense of purpose growing within him. He realized that while he had been feeling distant from Jake, he was also missing the connections he could make with others. Ares's courage inspired him to reach out and reconnect with those he cared about. Finally, they arrived at the entrance to a dark trench. "The artifact lies within," Ares said, her expression serious. "But we must be careful. The creature guarding it is powerful." Taking a deep breath, Sam nodded. "Let's do this." As they ventured into the darkness, Sam could feel the weight of uncertainty pressing down on him, but he pushed it aside. With Ares by his side, he felt stronger. They faced the monstrous creature, a massive shadow that seemed to consume the light. But together, they fought bravely, using their combined strength and wits to outmaneuver the beast. Sam found himself tapping into a well of courage he never knew he had. After a fierce battle, they finally reached the artifact, a glowing pearl, pulsating with energy. Ares took it in her hands, and a wave of light surged through the trench. The ocean began to calm, and the creature retreated into the shadows. Defeated as they emerged from the depths, Sam felt a sense of accomplishment wash over him. He had faced his fears and helped save a kingdom. But more importantly, he realized that he could bridge the distance he felt with Jake. Inspired by his adventure with Ares, he knew he needed to reach out to his friend. "I'll find a way to reconnect with Jake," Sam said, turning to Ares. "This experience has shown me how important it is to maintain our bonds." Ares smiled, her eyes sparkling with pride. "You have a brave heart, Sam. You are capable of great things, both in the ocean and on land." As they surfaced, the sun shone brightly, illuminating the world around them. Sam felt a renewed sense of hope and purpose. He realized that distance didn't have to mean disconnection. With a little effort, he could reach out to those he cared about, just as he had reached across the ocean to help a princess in need. Iris looked at him, her form shimmering in the sunlight. "Thank you, Sam. You have not only saved my kingdom, but also discovered the strength within you." As she prepared to return to her underwater realm, Sam felt a bittersweet pang in his heart. He would miss her, but he understood that this was not the end. The world was full of possibilities, and he was ready to embrace them. With a wave, Ares submerged back into the ocean, leaving Sam with the glowing pearl, a reminder of their adventure and a symbol of hope. As he headed back to shore, he knew that he would reach out to Jake. He would share his story, their memories, and the promise of new adventures together. He was just fishing, but now he was ready to cast his line into the waters of friendship, reconnecting with the people he cared about, no matter the distance. After his incredible adventure with Princess Iris, Sam returned to the shore feeling different. The glowing pearl rested in his pocket, a reminder of the bravery he had found within himself. But as he stepped onto the sandy beach, the weight of reality settled back in. He still felt the heavy distance between him and Jake, his best friend, who had moved away. Sam sat on a weathered log, staring out at the waves lapping at the shore. He thought about the countless fishing trips they had taken together, laughing and sharing stories as they waited for a bite. Now those memories felt bittersweet. He missed how they could talk about anything and everything, how they would challenge each other and support one another. But since Jake's move, their conversations had become rare, and each time Sam picked up the phone, he hesitated, unsure of what to say. He pulled out his phone and opened Jake's contact. The screen showed the last message they had exchanged. Simple, "I miss you, buddy," from Jake after he had settled into his new home. Sam had wanted to reply with something meaningful, but the words had never come. Instead, he had just left it hanging, feeling the gap grow wider. But today was different. After facing the unknown with Aris, Sam felt a surge of courage. He realized that if he wanted to reconnect with Jake, he needed to take that first step. He took a deep breath, his heart pounding with a mix of excitement and nervousness. He typed a message. "Hey, Jake, I've been thinking about you. Can we chat soon?" He pressed send and stared at the screen, waiting. Seconds felt like hours. Just when he began to doubt himself, his phone buzzed with a reply. "Sam, I'd love to. How about a video call tomorrow?" Relief flooded over him. They were going to talk. Sam spent the rest of the day preparing for their call, feeling a sense of purpose. He cleaned his fishing gear, reminiscing about the last time they had gone out together. He wanted to share everything with Jake the adventure with Iris, the pearl, and how it had changed him. The next day, as the sun began to set, Sam set up his laptop on the kitchen table. He felt a flutter of nerves, but he reminded himself of his adventure. He had faced a monster. He could handle a video call with his best friend. When Jake's face appeared on the screen, Sam felt a rush of warmth. Jake looked good, though he had that familiar glint of mischief in his eyes. "Sam, it's great to see you," Jake said, grinning. "Hey, you too," Sam replied, feeling the distance shrink between them. They started chatting about everyday things: Jake's new job, the city he was living in, and the funny things that had happened since he moved. It felt like old times, and Sam relaxed into the conversation. Then, Sam took a deep breath and decided to share his adventure. "You won't believe what happened to me while fishing," he began, excitement bubbling up. He told Jake about Princess Iris, the glowing pearl, and how he had helped save her kingdom. As he spoke, he could see Jake's eyes widen in disbelief. "No way, that's amazing," Jake exclaimed. "You actually fought a monster? That's like something out of a movie." "I know, right? I never thought I could do something like that." "It made me realize how important it is to connect with people, especially those we care about," Sam said, his voice growing more earnest. Jake nodded, his expression thoughtful. "I get that. When I moved, I thought it would be easy to stay in touch, but life got busy. I miss our fishing trips." As the days turned into weeks, Sam continued to feel the strength of his friendship with Jake growing, even from afar. Their video calls became a regular part of his routine, and each conversation filled him with warmth and joy. They laughed about old memories, shared new experiences, and discussed their dreams. However, a lingering sadness still resided in Sam's heart. He missed the physical presence of his best friend, the shared laughter during fishing trips, the late-night talks around a campfire, and the comfort of simply being together. One evening, as Sam sat on the beach watching the waves roll in, he felt a familiar ache of longing. The ocean, which had once been his escape, now mirrored the distance he felt from Jake. He pulled out the glowing pearl, a reminder of his adventure with Princess Iris, and held it tightly in his hand. The pearl represented courage and connection, and he realized it was time to turn those lessons into action. "I need to do something special," Sam murmured to himself. "I can't let distance define my friendship with Jake. We need to have an adventure together, like we used to." Inspired, Sam began to brainstorm ideas. What if he could bring a piece of their old fishing trips to Jake? He thought about all the things they loved: fishing, exploring, and sharing stories. Then an idea struck him. He would create a fishing challenge for them both, but in a way that would bring them even closer together. The next day, Sam started planning the ultimate virtual fishing challenge. He would send Jake a care package filled with fishing supplies, snacks, and a few surprises to make it fun. He wanted to include the glowing pearl, too, as a symbol of their friendship and the adventures they would share. This would be their new way of connecting, an adventure that reached across the miles. Sam spent the next few days gathering items for the care package. He included a new fishing lure that he had designed himself, one shaped like a fish they had both caught during their trips. He added some of Jake's favorite snacks, beef jerky and gummy worms, along with a handwritten note explaining the challenge. In the note, he shared his hopes for their virtual fishing day, encouraging Jake to prepare for a friendly competition. When the package was ready, Sam felt a rush of excitement. He shipped it off and eagerly awaited Jake's reaction. The following week, as they sat down for their regular video call, Sam could hardly contain his anticipation. "Hey, Jake, how's everything going?" Sam asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Pretty good. Just got home from work. What about you? Jake replied, a smile spreading across his face. Great. I sent you something special. It should be arriving soon, Sam said, his heart racing. Really? You didn't have to do that, Jake said, clearly intrigued. Just then, Sam's phone buzzed. Jake held up a package in front of the camera. Is this it? Yes, open it, Sam urged, feeling a thrill of excitement. Jake tore open the package, revealing its contents. His eyes widened as he pulled out the fishing lure and snacks. This is awesome. I can't believe you made this lure. It looks just like the one we caught that huge bass with. Sam laughed, remembering their excitement that day. Exactly. And there's more in there. I want us to have a fishing challenge. Together virtually. We can fish in our favorite spots, share stories, and see who can catch the biggest fish. Jake's face lit up. That sounds like so much fun. I'm in. When do we start? How about this weekend? Sam suggested. We can set up our cameras and fish at the same time. I'll share my spot and you can show me yours. Perfect. I can't wait. Jake replied, enthusiasm bubbling in his voice. As they continued to talk about their plans, Sam felt a wave of hope wash over him. This challenge wasn't just about fishing. It was about reconnecting and celebrating their friendship in a new way. Sam realized that they were both willing to put in the effort to bridge the distance, and that made all the difference. The days leading up to the fishing challenge were filled with excitement. Sam prepared his gear, checked his fishing spot, and even practiced some of his favorite fishing techniques. He felt a renewed sense of purpose, and each day brought him closer to the adventure. Finally, the day of the challenge arrived. Sam woke up early, filled with anticipation. He set up his laptop on the deck, ensuring the camera was pointed toward the water. The sun rose over the horizon, casting a golden glow on the ocean. It was the perfect backdrop for their virtual fishing trip. When Jake logged on, Sam's heart raced. Hey, buddy, ready to catch some fish? Absolutely. Let's do this, Jake replied, excitement clear in his voice. They each shared their fishing spots, and it felt like they were back in their old rhythm. As they cast their lines into the water, they chatted about everything, their hopes, their dreams, and the little things that made them smile. The distance faded away, and it felt like they were side by side again. Got one, Jake shouted suddenly, pulling in a fish with a triumphant grin. How about that? Nice catch. I'll see if I can beat you, Sam replied, feeling the thrill of competition. They spent hours fishing, laughing, and sharing stories. Sam felt invigorated, as if the ocean's energy flowed through him. He realized that this challenge was not just about fishing. It had become a way to strengthen their bond and remind each other of the adventures they still had ahead. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the water, Sam caught a glimpse of something shimmering below the surface. He leaned closer, surprised to see a familiar sight, the glowing pearl he had found during his adventure with Ares. It floated just beneath the waves, a symbol of their friendship and the courage they shared. Jake, look, Sam exclaimed, pointing to the water. It's the pearl. Jake squinted and smiled. That's incredible. It's like it's watching over us. With a renewed sense of hope, Sam knew that their friendship was strong enough to withstand any distance. They had shared an adventure, and this was only the beginning. They could find ways to connect, to share experiences, and to support each other, no matter where they were in the world. As the call came to an end, Sam felt grateful. Thanks for today, Jake. I had an amazing time. Same here, Sam. Let's make this a regular thing. I can't wait for our next adventure, Jake replied, his voice filled with joy. Sam smiled, knowing that they would keep their friendship alive and flourishing, no matter the miles between them. He was just fishing, but now he was also reeling in the threads of connection, creating a strong bond that would carry them through any distance. With hope in his heart, Sam looked out at the waves, ready for whatever adventure awaited him next. As the weeks passed, Sam and Jake continued their virtual fishing challenges, each session deepening their friendship despite the distance. They shared stories of their days, laughed at silly moments, and even began to plan for a future fishing trip together. But beneath this excitement, Sam still felt a pang of sadness whenever he thought about how far away Jake was. He missed the little things, the shared meals, the impromptu adventures, and the comfort of being together. One evening, after a long day at work, Sam sat on his porch and gazed at the ocean. He remembered how much fun he and Jake used to have exploring the beaches near their hometown. Those memories were like treasures, but they also reminded him of how much he missed his friend. He picked up his phone and scrolled through their photos, smiling at the memories, but feeling that familiar ache of longing. Suddenly, a thought struck him. What if they could create new memories together, even from afar? Sam remembered how much Jake loved adventure. He decided that they should plan a real fishing trip, and it would be the ultimate reunion. But how could he make it happen? Sam began to brainstorm. He could save up money for the trip and invite Jake to visit. They could explore new fishing spots together, just like they used to. But first, he needed to talk to Jake about it. The next day during their video call, Sam felt nervous, but excited. "Hey, Jake, I've been thinking about something," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "Yeah? What's up?" Jake replied, leaning in with curiosity. "I want us to plan a real fishing trip together. You could come down here, and we could explore some amazing spots. It would be just like old times." Sam said, his heart racing. Jake's eyes lit up with excitement. "That sounds incredible. I would love to, but how are we going to make that happen?" Sam took a deep breath. "I've been thinking about saving up for it. I want to make sure we can have the best time together. It's been too long since we fished side by side." Jake nodded, his expression serious. "I'd love to come, but I don't want you to stress about the cost. We can figure something out together. Let's do it. We can plan everything. And I'll work extra shifts to save up." "It'll be worth it," Sam replied, determination filling his voice. As they continued to discuss their plans, Sam felt a spark of hope. This trip could be the adventure they both needed. It wasn't just about fishing. It was about reconnecting, creating new memories, and celebrating their friendship. They began to brainstorm ideas for their trip, discussing the best places to fish, the food they would eat, and the stories they would share around the campfire. Over the next few weeks, Sam worked hard to save money. He picked up extra hours at his job, often feeling tired but motivated by the thought of seeing Jake again. He imagined their laughter echoing across the water, the thrill of catching fish, and the joy of simply being together. Each paycheck brought him closer to his goal, and he could feel the excitement building. The sun rose over the ocean, casting a warm glow on the water as Sam and Jake prepared for their second day of fishing together. The excitement from yesterday's adventures still buzzed in the air, but beneath it was a sense of urgency. Sam wanted to make the most of every moment they had, knowing that Jake would be leaving soon. He felt determined to create lasting memories that would bridge the distance once again. "Ready for round 2? Sam asked, grinning as he set up his fishing gear. "Absolutely. Let's see if I can catch something bigger than you did yesterday." Jake replied, his competitive spirit shining through as they cast their lines into the water. The early morning sun glinted off the surface, making it sparkle like diamonds. Sam felt a sense of peace wash over him. They were back to their old rhythm, joking and teasing each other like they always had. But beneath the laughter, Sam couldn't shake the feeling of sadness that crept in whenever he thought about Jake leaving. They fished for a while, swapping stories about their lives. Since the last time they were together, Sam shared tales of his new fishing techniques, while Jake talked about his job and how he was adjusting to life in a new city. It was a joy to hear his friend's voice, but Sam could feel the clock ticking. Their time together was limited, and he wanted to make it special. After a few hours of fishing, they decided to take a break and grab some lunch. They set up a picnic on the beach, enjoying sandwiches and snacks while watching the waves crash against the shore. Sam couldn't help but feel grateful. "I'm so glad you came to visit, Jake. I've missed this us." "Me too, Sam. It's like we never skipped a beat," Jake replied, taking a bite of his sandwich. "I wish I could stay longer." "Yeah, me too," Sam said, his voice trailing off. He looked out at the ocean, searching for the right words. "But I don't want this to be it. I want to keep our friendship strong, even when you go back home." Jake nodded, his expression serious. "I want that too. It can be hard sometimes, being so far apart. But we've already proven that we can overcome distance." Sam felt a spark of hope. "Exactly. We can keep planning these trips, and we can make time for calls and messages. I want us to keep sharing our adventures, no matter where we are." After they finished eating, they walked along the beach, enjoying the warmth of the sun and the sound of the waves. Sam picked up shells and stones, feeling inspired by the beauty around him. He wanted to capture this moment, to remember the connection they had found again. As they strolled, Sam suddenly spotted something glimmering in the sand. He knelt down and picked it up, a smooth, iridescent shell that sparkled like the pearl he had found during his adventure with Princess Aris. "Look at this," he exclaimed, holding it up for Jake to see. "Wow, that's beautiful," Jake said, admiring the shell. "It looks almost magical." "It reminds me of our fishing adventure with Aris," Sam said, a smile spreading across his face. "You know, I think we should create our own tradition. Let's collect something from each of our fishing trips to remember them by." "That's a great idea," Jake replied, his eyes lighting up. "We can start a collection of memories." They continued walking, gathering shells and stones, each one representing a moment they had shared. With each find, Sam felt the bond between them grow stronger. These little treasures would remind them of their friendship and the adventures yet to come. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink, they returned to their fishing spot. Sam felt a rush of excitement and gratitude. This trip was everything he had hoped for and more. They set their lines again, and as they fished, they talked about their dreams for the future. "Do you ever think about what you want to do next?" Jake asked, reeling in his line. "Sometimes. I'd love to explore more places. Maybe take a fishing trip somewhere new," Sam said. "How about you?" "I want to travel, see new places, and meet new people. But no matter where I go, I'll always want to come back here and fish with you," Jake replied, his sincerity shining through. Sam felt a warmth in his heart. "Same here, man. No matter how far apart we might be, we can always find a way back to each other." As the evening deepened, they started to catch more fish, each one a small victory. They cheered for each other's catches, celebrating the little moments that made their friendship special. Sam felt a sense of joy that he hadn't experienced in a long time. They were truly together, enjoying the thrill of the hunt, the beauty of nature, and the warmth of their friendship. Later, as they sat around the campfire, roasting marshmallows and sharing stories, Sam felt an overwhelming sense of peace. The stars twinkled above them, and the sound of the waves created a soothing backdrop. He looked at Jake, who was laughing at one of his stories, and felt grateful for this moment. "Jake, I know we can't always be together. but I promise to. Always make the effort to stay connected, Sam said, his voice earnest. You mean a lot to me, and I don't want distance to change that. Jake nodded, his expression sincere. I feel the same way, Sam. We've been through so much together, and I wouldn't trade our friendship for anything. We can make this work. As they shared their hopes and dreams, Sam realized that friendship was like fishing. It required patience, effort, and a willingness to adapt. They may be separated by distance, but their bond was stronger than any physical barrier. That night, as they settled into their sleeping bags, Sam felt hopeful about the future. He knew their adventures together were far from over. They would continue to create memories, share stories, and support each other. No matter where life took them. When morning came, Sam woke up to the sound of seagulls and the gentle crash of waves. He looked over at Jake, who was still asleep, and smiled. This trip had reminded him of the importance of connection and friendship. They had faced the distance together and emerged stronger. As they packed up their gear and prepared to head home, Sam felt a sense of excitement for what lay ahead. They would plan more trips, more fishing challenges, and more adventures. And he knew that as long as they kept putting in the effort, their friendship would flourish. He was just fishing, but now he was also reeling in the bonds of connection, ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited them in the future. After an incredible week of fishing and reconnecting, Sam and Jake found themselves back at the beach, preparing to say goodbye. The sun was shining brightly, but a shadow of sadness hung over Sam. He had cherished every moment with Jake, and now that it was time for his friend to go back home, he felt a familiar ache in his heart. Thanks for an amazing trip, Sam, Jake said, his voice filled with warmth. I had the best time. Me too, Sam replied, forcing a smile. It was great to have you here. I really missed this. They stood on the beach, waves crashing at their feet. Sam felt the weight of the distance that would soon separate them again. It felt like an ocean between them, deep and wide. Even though they had shared so many memories, he couldn't shake the feeling that their friendship was still fragile. I wish you didn't have to go, Sam said quietly. I know, but we can't let distance keep us apart, Jake replied, his tone serious. We've already proven that we can overcome it. Let's keep that spirit alive. Sam nodded, but doubt crept in. Yeah, but it's hard sometimes. I don't want to lose what we have. Jake placed a reassuring hand on Sam's shoulder. We won't lose it. We just have to be committed. Let's make a plan to visit each other more often. We can set dates for our fishing challenges and keep doing video calls. I'd like that, Sam said, feeling a spark of hope. But what if life gets busy again? Then we'll make it our priority, Jake said, determination in his voice. Friendship is worth the effort. Remember how we fought that monster in the ocean together? We can tackle anything. Sam chuckled at the memory of their adventure with Princess Aris. You're right. If we could face that, we can face anything. With renewed energy, they began to brainstorm. They decided to create a schedule for their fishing trips, planning out dates for the next few months. They even talked about how they could explore new places together, maybe even plan a fishing trip to a national park or a lake they had always wanted to visit. The more they talked, the more excited they became. Imagine fishing in a mountain lake surrounded by trees and wildlife, Jake said, his eyes shining with enthusiasm. Or camping out under the stars. Sam added, feeling his spirits lift. We could cook our catch over a campfire. As they made plans, Sam felt a sense of purpose. He realized that distance didn't have to mean disconnection. With effort and commitment, they could keep their friendship strong. It was a promise they would both keep. Later that day, as they packed Jake's bags into the car, Sam felt a sense of bittersweet happiness. He wanted to hold on to this moment, to remember the joy they had shared. He pulled out the iridescent shell they had collected and handed it to Jake. Here, this is a reminder of our adventure together. Jake accepted the shell, a look of surprise on his face. Thank you, Sam. I'll treasure this. And I'll keep the other one, Sam said, smiling. It'll remind me of you. With one last hug, they said their goodbyes, and Sam watched as Jake drove away. The empty beach felt lonely, but Sam held on to the hope that they could still connect. He took a deep breath, savoring the salty air, and turned to head back home. In the following days, Sam focused on maintaining their connection. He sent Jake messages, sharing funny fishing memes and updates about his